So we've all seen the Vancouver 2010 Olympics finish this Monday, and it was quite an exciting time. There's a few troubles here and there, but overall it was very good.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Daniel?
I think the Vancouver 2010 Olympics were very well staged, except for the couple controversial issues within it. For example, more than 30 people have been banned from competing in the Olympics due to substance abuse, which is pretty much taking performance-enhancing drugs. So the issue with this, the problem I have with this issue is that the fact that we're not questioning why steroids are banned.
And this has been an important rule for such a long time. I mean, ever since I can remember, we've been told steroids are bad, and it's rightfully banned from the Olympics. But I don't think I've ever taken the time to actually critically analyze why steroids is bad, why it should be banned from the Olympic Games. And for a rule that's so controversial, I think it's important that we take a look at it and we challenge it in an organized or formal fashion. So.
Yeah. So I think I'll start off with listing the official reasons why IOC has banned substance abuse. According to their official website, they say that performance-enhancing drugs are a potential health threat. They infringe on the equality of opportunity for athletes, and by banning performance-enhancing drugs, they preserve the good nature of sports by maintaining clean or doping-free environments for the Olympics.
So I think we should start off by taking a look at these reasons one by one. The first reason was regarding the health of the athletes. I think I'll start by outlining the dangers of steroids. They have been known to cause diseases like osteoporosis. It can cause elevated blood pressure. It's been known to cause cancer. And they have been related to psychological effects like random rage and suicidal thoughts. And I think most significantly, well, the root of all these causes is that steroids mess up our balance of hormones, and that is really detrimental to our well-being in the long run.
What Peter said has an inherent issue within itself. Although the usage of steroids is detrimental to our health, many of us ignore the potential health effects of generally accepted methods in increasing our human performance. For example, eating protein shakes that give us more protein than our natural sources would allow us leads to overworked kidneys and livers in processing this extra amount of nutrients that we believe is beneficial to our health. Furthermore, although steroids lead to many physical complications, protein shakes also lead to the many same risks that the steroids carry, such as cancer and osteoporosis. The general consensus is that steroids are bad, and while this is undeniable, vitamins are also potentially dangerous to our health as are steroids. The issue here is this hype that steroids are illegal because of their detrimental effects. Yet the question remains is why are the legal methods of increasing our performance allowed, and yet also carry health risks, which shadow doubt over the rationale of the premise that the steroids are bad because they are detrimental to our health.
Yeah, and it's not just like protein shakes or vitamin supplement, or not just stuff like that. We also have to look at the sports themselves. I mean, over the years, we've seen the introduction of more and more extreme sports such as snowboard and ski cross. And we've seen in the first morning of the Olympics the tragic death of the Georgian luger. And the big controversy around that was because he was practicing on the fastest luge track that was ever built. And in the 2014 Olympics, they were planning to actually make an even faster luge track. So obviously, when they were making these, they weren't actually looking at the safety of the athletes. They were just looking for more high adrenaline sports.
Well, one could make the argument that these athletes are better trained, they have more access to better equipment, but the fact remains that these sports are still dangerous, and the idea that you can try to eliminate all the health risks that are associated with participating in these games is quite frankly insane. And being an athlete at this high level of competition, there's bound to be some health risks that are involved, and if the IOC really wants to be consistent, they can't solely rely on the argument that it's a health risk to take steroids. when given the protein shakes and the dangerous sports and what have you.
The second reason why steroids and other types of human enhancing drugs are banned from the Olympics is because of the reason for equality and level standing between all the athletes. So, again, this rule is very obviously appeals to other masses and promotes fair sportsmanship, which is obviously one of the goals of the Olympics. But there are also a few flaws within this as well. So we'd like to elaborate on these inconsistencies that are demonstrated within this second rule. So one of the examples is just the fact that inequality is inevitable. For example, based on the location of geography, if we have the northern countries, say Canada, Sweden, and Norway, they obviously have an advantage over countries such as Great Britain in sports such as snowboarding and skiing, because they have easy access to mountains and snowy regions that will greatly accelerate their performance and training. So it's very difficult to balance the imbalance between these locations.
Even more inherently unequal is genetics. I mean, we simply can't deny that there are just certain people who are naturally stronger, faster, and fitter than we are.
I think when we're talking about this, the short story Harrison Bertram by Kurt Vonnegut comes to mind, where in this society the beautiful wore masks to hide their beauty. The physically capable were handicapped by being weighed down by weights, for instance, in order to create this society of equality, making everyone have a level playing field, so to speak. And I think there's something fundamentally wrong with handicapping or limiting people's potentials in order to create this level playing field, as the IOC claims to do. I mean, the philosophy of the Olympics is for people to realize their full potential in a competitive manner. And again, one can argue that trying to eliminate all these forms of inequalities is impossible. And besides, it's going against what the Olympics are, one of the reasons why the Olympics are being held in the first place.
There is an argument with equality. I mean, the IOC does have that. And there are certain factors like genetics and geography that they realistically can never change. But what about stuff like technology? I mean, access to training facilities, access to specialized coaches, access to specialized diets. Going back to the swimming pool example, technically we can tell all the other countries who have swimming pools not to use them. I mean, because Nigeria doesn't have a swimming pool, we can tell like Michael Phelps, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to use any swimming pool bigger than your local community pool, because that's not fair for the Nigerians. And we're obviously not doing that. So, and if you look at it, using steroids is essentially the same thing. It's access to technology, the technology of creating drugs. And we are isolating drugs from everything else. And again, this is hypocrisy. And I don't think this reason is in good standing.
Just because of the inconsistencies of
yeah,
the IOC.
Exactly. So the third reason why steroids are banned from the Olympics is by banning these substances, they can maintain a clean and dope-free environment. The purpose of the Olympics is to test the limits of human physical prowess. And by using steroids, that sense of achievement is diluted because of the unnatural aid of steroids. The Olympics are supposed to be a paragon of hard work and dedication, skill and athleticism. And by using steroids, athletes are taking a shortcut and substituting those values of hard work.
And I think it's also important to point out that steroids are man-made chemicals. And the fact that these human enhancement strategies, I think it's really drawing back from the idea of human achievement. The fact that out of, once again, the values that Austin outlined, hard work and dedication, you can't replace this, you shouldn't replace this rather, with artificial substances, as, once again, taking away from our ability to achieve naturally. It's almost degrading these values.